And President Trump is ruling out sending American troops on the ground to Ukraine as a security guarantee, but he says the U.S. could provide air support. We're also learning plans for a meeting between Zelenskyy and Putin are being worked on, and there's at least one location in the running. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes has the latest developments from the White House. Nancy, good morning. So the White House and European leaders are working to figure out security guarantees for Ukraine as part of a possible peace deal. What are you hearing about that?
Well, we know that there were meetings in Europe yesterday, Michael. We know that Secretary of State Marco Rubio is the point person here in the U.S. And White House officials say they want to come up with a plan for a post-war Ukraine within the next 10 days. So they're moving very quickly to try to figure out how both European allies and the U.S. could provide security guarantees to Ukraine to protect it from future invasion and to send a powerful message to Russia about the dangers of invading again. And so what does that look like? Who might contribute ground troops? The U.S., the president himself talking about possibly air support. What kind of intelligence support? What kind of weaponry? How would they help Ukraine to build up its own military? Those are all the kinds of questions that they are hashing out right now.
And Nancy, I also want to ask about that possible Putin-Zelenskyy meeting. Now, the White House says plans are currently being worked on. What do we know so far about that?
Well, we know that Budapest, Hungary, is one of the front runners for a location for this summit that the White House is working to broker between Zelenskyy and Putin. And this is by no means a sure thing. If you look at the history of these two men, they've only met once before. They certainly haven't met since the war broke out 3.5 years ago. And so while both men have told President Trump that they're willing to do it, it's the kind of thing you really can't count on until it actually happens. But White House officials are pushing ahead anyway. They say they hope to have a date and a location nailed down by the end of this week. And they are hoping, and European leaders are as well, that this sit-down could take place sometime within the next couple of weeks.
All right, Nancy Cordes of the White House, thank you. And CBS News Congressional reporter Taurean Small is live on Capitol Hill with more on this. Taurean, good morning. So how is Congress reacting to the president's plans to try to end the war in Ukraine?
Well, we've seen Republicans be very complimentary of the president. In fact, Representative Annie Ogles of Tennessee put out a recommendation or a nomination for Trump to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, not just citing this deal that he's looking to broker between Ukraine and Russia, but also other conflicts that the president has touted as being the catalyst for why those have resolved since he's taken office. We've seen other Republicans come out saying that this is what Donald Trump pretty much said he would do on the campaign trail. So they're looking to be as supportive as his administration moves forward with these peace plans as they can be.
Congress took its August recess. There was a push to slap more sanctions on Russia. Where does that stand right now?
Yeah, there's cautious optimism when it comes to these negotiations. So we see, especially from Senate Leader John Thune, that he wants to give Donald Trump, the president, enough leeway to continue with this diplomacy. But if those peace deals do fall apart, he's willing and ready to move forward with those sanctions. He's saying that, again, he's not too trusting of Russia, but he does feel that the president should get the runway to do what he wants on this before they intervene. So Congress, especially Senate Republicans, are ready in the event that they have to step in.
And Taurean, I've got to ask you about this viral moment involving New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik. She was booed pretty loudly at a dedication ceremony this week. What happened there?
Yeah, it's pretty emblematic of these town halls that Republicans have been going through where they've been interrupted or disrupted by protesters, a lot of them expressing their disappointment. In this case, it wasn't even an event for her. She was just there to support another public servant. And this is a bit of that exchange.
I was not going to let them drown out me talking about how important it is to commemorate John Zerlow's legacy. So they chose not to calm down, but I wanted to make sure the Zerlow family heard from me.
So yeah, the Congresswoman acknowledging that there were some people not too supportive of her in the audience, but she said that she was there to push forward. And we've seen a myriad of Republican town halls in light of this backlash to not just the president's agenda, but their handling of his agenda. Democrats aren't necessarily getting away from this either. They face some heated people at their own town halls saying that they need to do more to counter Donald Trump's agenda, not too satisfied in their performance as well.
All right, Taurean Small, thanks for joining us.